Today, the United States is the richest and most powerful country in history, controlling a massive, uninterrupted stretch of land from the Atlantic all the way to the Pacific. But in 1783, the new nation was essentially 13 independent countries united in name only, operating under a failing government. These disjointed states were completely boxed in by the massive empires of Great Britain and Spain. As this chart shows, the American population was doubling every 20 years, pressing hard against the western border. The founding fathers needed space, but they also realized that fighting established European superpowers was a recipe for bankruptcy. They decided it would be more effective to simply buy the land. This realization transformed American expansion from a series of military conquests into an era of high-stakes real estate transactions. The strategy started with a modest request. American farmers needed the Mississippi River to ship their crops, so the United States offered to buy the port of New Orleans from France. Across the Atlantic, Napoleon Bonaparte was facing a crisis. He was planning an imminent invasion of Great Britain and needed a massive infusion of cash to fund his army. Napoleon feared that if he didn't sell, the Americans might eventually support the British. To prevent that alliance, he made a sudden, drastic counteroffer: the entire Louisiana territory. The final price was $15 million. With one signature, the United States instantly doubled in size. The Louisiana Purchase proved that the United States could leverage the geopolitical desperation of the Old World to fuel its own growth. In 1819, the U.S. turned its attention to a struggling Spanish empire, successfully negotiating the purchase of Florida. Next came a demographic takeover. American settlers moved into the sparsely populated Mexican territory of Texas in such numbers that they eventually broke away to form an independent republic, which later joined the Union. President James K. Polk pushed these expansionist tactics to their limit. His aggressive stance on border disputes eventually triggered a full-blown war with Mexico. Even after winning that war and seizing Mexico's northern territories, the U.S. kept the transaction on the books. They paid Mexico $15 million in 1848, and another $10 million 5 years later for a final piece of land. By the 1850s, through this mix of settlement, warfare, and checkbook diplomacy, the United States successfully stretched from sea to sea. After the Civil War, the nation was reunited, but scarred. Yet even with the assassination of President Lincoln, the drive for new territory didn't slow down. Russia was drowning in debt after its own conflicts. Fearing the British might seize Alaska by force, the Tsar decided it was safer to sell the territory to the Americans while he still could. Secretary of State William Seward stayed up through a late-night haggling session with the Russian ambassador to finalize the deal. They settled on a price of $7 million for the massive northern territory. By acquiring Alaska, Washington geopolitically flanked British Canada and secured a dominant foothold in the Pacific North. Having run out of land on the continent, the U.S. used the Guano Islands Act, a legal loophole allowing citizens to claim any unoccupied island covered in bird droppings to seize offshore territories. The ambitions soon grew. American businessmen overthrew the Hawaiian monarchy, and the U.S. annexed the islands to prevent rival powers like Japan or Germany from using them as a naval base. In 1898, a mysterious explosion destroyed a U.S. warship in Cuba, launching the Spanish-American War. That brief conflict ended the Spanish Empire, leaving the United States in control of Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Philippines. To connect these two oceans, President Teddy Roosevelt paid Panama $10 million for the right to build a canal, permanently linking the Atlantic and Pacific. These acquisitions finalized America's transformation from an isolated continental nation into a global imperial power. By 1914, the United States was a global powerhouse, maintaining the second-largest navy in the world. The final imperial ledger is striking. While European empires spent billions on wars of conquest, the United States purchased the foundations of a superpower for a total of roughly $57 million. But there was a heavy cost omitted from the financial records. These unclaimed lands were already home to millions. Executing these real estate deals required the violent displacement, subjugation, and erasure of Native American and indigenous populations. America's unexpected rise to dominance was achieved by leveraging the bankruptcies of the Old World, redrawing the global map through the most opportunistic and successful real estate deals in human history.